The first time the Riki hit the tower, Cr1t already TP'd. The moment that Riki walked into the vision, he already TP bottom. And then he echoes it right away. That's so good. Like, he's setting up for all these guys who can split push bot lane. This is a game of Cr1t. He was playing Earthshaker. And earlier I played Earthshaker and I was absolutely dog shit. So I wanted to know like what a professional Earthshaker is doing, because you know I haven't played this game in a very long time and trying to get back into the game. And I think it's a good chance for all of us to learn together from the perspective of like how a pro might see something or whatever. And this is a pub game, so like whatever you learn here, you could probably apply it to your own games in one way or another. Alright. So Earthshaker, he started off, he got a ward, he put a ward in the lane area. One thing to mention is like his starting items. Like starting items are very important, right? So he's got a Tango and a Flask, and he's got a Sage Mask. I think one of the mistakes I made was like when I was playing Earthshaker, position 4, I went off lane and I played it with boots or something dumb. It was absolutely terrible. So if you have early regen, what it means is you can protect your carry in the lane using your own body, and like you can right click the enemy and you can trade very well as an Earthshaker. And his movement speed isn't even that bad. It's 311. Then he also bought a Sage Mask. It gives him mana regen. I do wonder what he will go into with this. Either like a Bassi or maybe an Urn. I doubt he's going Urn, but we'll see. Or maybe he might just sell it. But in his quick buy, he's got like Clarity, Flask, Windlace, Boots, like all the movement speed items coming up right away. Right? Like these are the stuff that he's already ready to like spam out to him at the start of the game. So this is really good to like prepare yourself. Like as soon as the game starts, you buy everything, then you buy all the quick buy stuff that you want to get with your courier right away. So you don't have to think what items you need to bring to yourself. You already know at the start of the game what you need to bring to yourself. And then he goes to the, and if you can see here, like, sorry, I should go to his perspective. That's what I want to do. Yeah. So you go to Radiant perspective. Like if you see at the start of the game, like he's just watching what he can do. They can't fight at this rune 2 versus 2, so he just goes straight to the other rune when he notices that all the guys are here. And he has this fissure. He'll use this fissure to like secure the rune for his team. And because of him, like they actually managed to get like 3 runes or something this game, which is huge. When you get 3 out of the 4 runes. And that was, there he just like, he's getting chased, he just stunned and then TP'd out. Back to the bottom lane. He couldn't run back this way because he would have got harassed too much, so he actually ran up here and TP'd out. So he really values his regen highly, and he doesn't want to like make any dumb plays. But at the same time, he wants to be in the lane right away, so his carry understands that the Earthshaker is there and he's not fighting 2 versus 1 at the start. Like, when you play support, I realized that it's very important that you have your support in the lane from the very beginning. Because the first waves can completely like dictate what happens, right? And he also dewards this camp right away. So he's bringing a sentry to himself. And he understands like, so at some point he realized that this camp might be warded and he needs to pull, so he just dewarded. So because he put the ward here, it probably means that he saw someone put the ward earlier. Like he's always clicking around on like enemy supports and seeing who has wards on them. That's why they were at the start of the game, you saw him come here, is because he wants to see like who has the wards and wants to scout that out. It's the most important thing. And like, is a new camp like that? Like you can, like for example, if the enemy planted a ward here, right, then the sentry would miss. So that probably means he saw where the ward was. And every time like somebody, like this is really big laning thing, right? Like every time like someone is coming into the jungle, like he would just go fight them off. Like this Earthshaker wanted to block the camp, he just fought them off to make sure their camp doesn't get blocked. The Earthshaker is not gonna run, the Earth Spirit is not gonna run past the Earthshaker. That's what I meant. The Earth Spirit is not gonna run past the Earthshaker to like block the camp. So the Earthshaker just like Cr1t understands that and he just keeps hitting the Earth Spirit non-stop. And they even like bullied all of his like regen away. Holy shit, this Ursa's insane. Damn, Ursa's so strong in lane, huh? Against melee guys. He's fighting against Mars and Earth Spirit, so it's really nice. I bet Lion should have been laning bottom lane, honestly, against Ursa. And then he realizes that the Ursa can lane by himself and the lane's push, he goes straight into the pull. So already here, you know that he doesn't care about helping the Ursa that much in comparison to pulling the lane, because the Ursa's in a winning matchup against Mars. So all he has to do is keep getting more XP than the enemy, instead of like this Earthshaker sitting in lane and leeching XP. All he's gonna do is gonna make sure the Earth Spirit is not gonna stop the Earthshaker from stopping the pulls. So he took this sentry, he bought it himself, he dewarded. Now he's like making sure the Earth Spirit doesn't fuck with him. He just keeps pulling and pulling, and every time the wave is here, the Ursa's gonna own the Mars. So he's like playing to the strength of his carry instead of like only playing his own game, right? Which is really nice. And now he sees the Earth Spirit is trying to pull. He doesn't want too many stacks of creep waves to build up, so he's gonna go and stop the Earth Spirit. Like his goal, the Shaker's goal in this game is to make sure that he gives his Ursa the easiest life possible. And the way to do that is for him to stop the Earth Spirit from like messing with the Ursa. Because the Ursa is always gonna beat the Mars 1v1. And even though like this Ursa can probably 2v1 these guys, he's not gonna like let the Mars and the Earth Spirit have a good time in this game. He's just non-stop messing with them. And you can see like he didn't leech a lot of XP in the lane. As an Earthshaker in the early game, you don't need to leech a lot of XP, but you just need to be like doing something. Like a lot of his experience he got was from when he was fighting the two guys here and the one pull camp that he did. So now he's got wards, he got his wind lace. So remember like he had these items in his stash, or like his quick buy, he bought it, he got his ward now. He goes mid, he realizes there's a chance to kill this Shadow Fiend with the DP, and he does it. Actually, the initial reason why he even came to this area of the map was probably to plant a ward for the DP. So at 5 minutes, he can go get the rune. Like, this is huge. Like, for supports, I'm stopping a lot early game because supporting is all about being in the right place at the right time. So 4 minutes in, he checked the rune, I think, right? So he checks the rune here, which is huge for your mid laner, so like the enemy roamer doesn't get the rune. He checks the rune, there's nothing here. If there was a rune here, he would have just went and picked it up. He had a ward, right? Now he gets the next ward coming from the courier, right? And he's already planning ahead for minute 5. He's already planning ahead to see where he can get this, where he can plant the ward and get the bounties. And he wants to plant this ward before nighttime, because once it's nighttime, it's really hard to plant vision, because you don't know what you're walking into, right? Because your vision drops in half, or whatever it is. I don't know if they changed that or something. Or it's more or less, it doesn't matter. The point is you have much less vision, it's much scarier. So here, he got a ward, he sees the position of the SF, he's like, hey, I'm here, go. He pings on the minimap, you can see that, and they go and they kill this SF. It's a huge kill, and this is how he gets his XP, right? From helping his teammates secure kills. And now you can see he's gonna walk around, he's gonna go to the bounty rune, and there it is. He goes to the bounty, he knows that the enemy saw him, so he's not planting this ward right away. He's gonna go to a position where the enemy won't expect him to have planted a ward, because he doesn't want this ward to get dewarded. And he collects both of the bounty runes. So up until minute 5, he's done something effective the entire time. He's not wasted a single second, actually, right? He's always looking at the minimap and always looking for opportunities. And as a support, you always have something to do because of the timer. Every minute, there's something to do. Minute 4, there's runes. Minute 5, there's bounties. Between that, you need to plant vision or rotate to help someone. So he's always thinking about this, right? When I played Earthshaker, I did not do this. I was like AFK in the lane, and like I took a rune at 4, but I didn't like help get bounties or like play to like plant any vision on the map, which is very bad of me. And now I learned from it, right? So he used his stuns and the Mars just TPs out, but this means Mars TP to base. He doesn't want to let this enemy Mars have any game at all. Like this Ursa's completely free farming. I'll just check the last hits, right? But like this Mars is having a shit game, but he's letting the Mars continue to have a shit game, but he's not like completely hunting him the entire time, right? He's always doing something effective. Like the way he's playing with Earthshaker is like he's playing between these two lanes. He's playing between the mid lane and the bottom lane. He's not like thinking too much about the other lanes because there's a lot of kill potential in these two lanes. Bottom lane is Ursa versus Mars. Ursa is like a destroyer of melee guys, right? Because of his passive. And then DP has a slow. And Shadow Fiend is not a hero who can really handle fighting against Earthshaker, right? Like he can't blink out or something. And DP can hunt him down too. So there's so much kill potential to stay between bottom and mid. And if you look top, there's no point for him to go top. Right? If he goes to the Ricky's lane, the Ricky can just blink strike out after the fissure. So it's like useless for him to be in the top lane. That's how he decided in the game. Like, oh, I'm gonna play around like mid and bottom area in this game specifically. He's seeing like where his fissure is the most valuable. And now with this double wave building up, and there's also a catapult, I'm sure this Ursa is like, yo, we can push bottom right now. Right? We have a catapult and we have creeps. And Crit's like, alright, I'm gonna wrap around. I'm gonna stun him one time, and this Ursa and this Mars who TP to his lane or already uses TP is gonna die here, right? Boom, boom, boom. Right click, chase him down. He's got Orb of Venom, and that's it. 3 kills, and all his XP so far. He's level 3, but he doesn't mind being level 3. He's done something effective for his entire team, and his Ursa is like level 7 in exchange. He tried to cancel the Earthshaker or Earth Spirit's spell, and look at their positioning. They're super aggressive, right? Like. When you're trying to take towers, it's really important that you run past the tower and like you bully the guys out of the range. So that one, they might not get XP, and two, it's harder for them to set up to kill you. Right? And this is really nice because he just wants to secure this tower. They get it. They don't get the last hit. It doesn't matter. It's just map control, right? And as we can see, he got another ward again for himself. This time he has a smoke too. And he's actually playing position 5 Earthshaker this game. This is actually like position 5 Earthshaker, right? Like, I don't know, he bought some sentries. I mean, or maybe I'm just wrong and like supports are just like this. Like supports just don't spend that much money these days, and position 4 and 5 is not really like a thing apart from like the hero that you play and what items the hero needs, right? So there's an arcane boots. Wait, what happened to the arcanes? Why did they send it to base? The Ursa got an arcanes, but he sent it to base, right? Isn't that item meant for Earthshaker, or is that meant for DP? Maybe someone in chat can help me with this one, because I'm really new to like these neutral items, right? Because I feel like that item would be amazing on an Earthshaker. So here it is again, the same thing. He's playing mid lane. He sees that, bottom lane. He sees that there's a free kill on the Mars with the Ursa. And if he looks at mid, he sees the Shadow Fiend is not even there. The Shadow Fiend is just like non-stop spamming the waves and going into the jungle. There's no point for him to be around mid lane. There's no pressure coming from that lane, right? So he's just gonna keep playing around the Ursa, who's gonna get free kills non-stop because of the Earthshaker. One of the teammates probably said they wanted it, so he just gave it to them. I think Pugna wants it. Ah, okay, yeah, Pugna does have it. Okay, makes sense. Yeah, Pugna would be better with this. So here he's playing around the ward. The Ricky comes. The Ricky's not yet level 6, so he doesn't have the invis. The Earthshaker is just using his body as a bait, and just like that, they get a kill on the position 1 Ricky with the Shaker. It's just really nice. I mean, this crit is like... And right before 10 minutes, that's the only time like he's going back to the outpost to like waste some time to, you know, retake it. And this is not a waste of time, right? Like look at his movements up until now, right? So minute 4, he checked rune. Then he went mid, he got a kill, planted ward, or wants to plant ward, but he took the rune. Then he planted a ward later. Then he keeps playing around the rune area. He plays around the Ursa. And now minute 9, he's gone to take over the outpost, and he's already preparing minute 10 to go for the next bounty and plant his next ward in the enemy jungle. So this way, because the Ursa is so strong and he's like constantly pushing bottom out, they can just take over this entire area, right? Like all of this is like their area now, right? Especially if you have vision there. You can see whoever's in the jungle and you can just move there. Now he plants a ward here. This ward is going to help him see if anybody comes to the bounty rune, especially the mid laner. The way his position is like to try and zone out the mid laner from coming into the bounty rune. The moment the SF sees him here, he's just going to run away, right? So now he takes a rune, bottom rune taken by Ursa, and they also get top rune. And unfortunately, he gets caught here. I think the enemy has vision. The way that, yeah, there's a ward on the Earthshaker, and he just gets caught here. And it'll happen sometimes where like when you play so aggressively and you don't know where the enemy vision is yet. So he died. This is his first death in the game, and this is going to be interesting after this point because as to like where he's going to go on the map, right? Like minute 10 is completed. I don't know if he took the Tome of Knowledge or somebody else on his team did. Oh, he took it. Okay, he really needs that XP. I mean, Pugna already has like, is almost like level 7 anyway. Or the Ember is the support. Ember might have wanted it, but the Earthshaker took it instead. Yeah, so he dies here, and then now it's going to be interesting to like think like where he's gonna go next. He got his Echo Slam with the Tome, and he TP's back bottom, and he has a smoke. Maybe this is a play where he smokes, because other than using the smoke with the Ursa, I can't imagine him having any plays anywhere else on the map. So what I'm thinking right now is, because he planted this ward here earlier, he wants to smoke the Ursa, and he wants to kill the SF, because that's where he planted the ward, and he wants to play around where he planted the ward, right? Because other than that, I can't imagine like him having any reason to like actually TP here. So here it is, he smokes up. Or they also want to kill the tower, maybe mid lane, so they can open up more of the map at the same time. So it's like a 2-for-1 special. They bring the Ursa in, and Earthshaker just needs to stun this SF one time. Oh, Ursa got blocked. SF is doing some funny movements so that the Ursa can't catch him, and there it is, one fissure, and the SF should be dead here. But Earthshaker will sacrifice his life to the Riki, seems like. Oh, the SF doesn't even die. Okay, now he's dead. So he baits the Riki into the tower, Echo Slams, hopefully somebody's responding, that's what he's thinking. No one responds, he's got a sentry ward down. And this game, before he got out of the base, he bought like wards and sentries, right? He's playing against Riki, he's gonna need a lot of sentries this game. And there it is, that sentry gonna also help him get a kill on the Riki there, because the Pugna rotated in, one more fissure, and back to base we go. We just go back, you know, refresh everything. He took an Ironwood tree. It gives him good stats. He's probably just taking whatever items that his teammates are not taking, right? And now he's looking at the mid lane. The mid lane is almost dead. He has a TP ready. He'll probably just TP back to the mid lane. He looks around the map. There's nowhere he can farm, and his team needs him. So he goes mid, activates a fissure, and this is not going to really amount to anything, right? Like, oh, and one thing to note is look at his scale build. He went from 1-1-3. I messed up because when I played Earthshaker, I went for high levels in fissure. And I think that build is too it's too supporty. Whereas if you take Aftershock, you can farm better. Because you can just keep using an enchant totem over and over again to farm and get like, you know, low mana cost, more damage, right? Whereas like fissure is like it costs a lot of mana the higher the level is as well. Obviously the cooldown is longer though. So he actually goes for a 1-1-3 build, and now he's playing around the mid lane. He just uses one fissure and runs around. Like the way he's playing Earthshaker in the early game before dagger and stuff is like he's just using his body to give information to his team and being in the right places to like. And he got a ward. That's some more gold for him. That's really nice. So just using his body and like give vision and being in the right place just to provide like that little bit of stun for his team to like block them off and stuff like that. It's a very patient way to play the game, you know? Like, look how he's moving around. He's always running around like with his core and pretending like he's actually doing something. But in reality, he doesn't really have any spells to give, right? He's just always like showing the enemy that he's in a position to do something. And they're always going to be scared of that. It's like having an extra hero there, which is really nice. He takes the outpost, he plants the ward, he takes the outpost casually. And I like the wards that he's planting this game. They're very, very aggressive. And that's because like, they have Ursa and he's already very strong right now. So they want to get a lot of aggressive vision this game. And he TP's bottom casually. Because at this point in the game, okay, this is something people need to understand. And like, it's really important, right? So someone like Cr1t in this game has given you everything, right? They moved around the map. They provided you with kills. They planted vision for you around the map, and then they also like, you know, use their body to give you vision, whatever, everything, right? And he has been low XP, and all the XP he's gotten throughout this game is not through creeps. He got it from like kills or assist or like some casual collateral creeps that when you pass by some waves. Now it's like minute 13, and his Ursa's online. His DP's online, right? All thanks to whatever Cr1t was doing. And the other lane went well as well with the Pugna and stuff. Now it's their time to do something on the map. And he feels like, okay, this wave coming bottom, he wants to farm it and he wants to protect his tower while being in a position where if they go on him, if they go on Cr1t, all of his teammates who are super strong will react and fight bottom. I think they're sharing like position 4 and 5. He's bought a lot of wards and he's bought a lot of sentries this game or whatever. So So now what he does by going bottom is he defends the tower, and if the enemy goes to gank this Earthshaker has like 1,300 HP almost. He's super hard to kill. He's got like 3 stuns, and all his teammates can just react under the tower. So the way he's gonna play is not gonna be up here. He's gonna play like behind this tower area, and he's probably telling his team like, oh, if they go on me bottom, like you guys can like react. He probably won't say that. He'll probably just be like, yo, I'm TPing bottom. And then like if he gets ganked, his teammates will just TP and help him. You know? That's what's nice about Dota, because if you help your teammates, they will help you back most of the time. And here it is. Okay. Okay. I was praising him, but he made a mistake where he went past this circle, right? This death circle, right? It's a very good chance that people are coming here. Now, if he was here, if he was right here and they jumped him, he'll just run back into these trees and the enemy's fucked. So he up here. Okay, this is his up, right? Like, this is his up. Like, him moving past this melee creeps and going up here was his up. Like, he doesn't need to do this play, right? If he was back here in this area and, like, just chilled, and if they dive like this and he goes into these trees, they could all die instead. But him dying here is much better than one of the cores TPing bottom and dying. Right? Because there's no objectives bottom for any of the cores to take either. And you're just going to make all your teammates be stuck around the bottom area. Yeah, that was his like only mistake that for me, I feel was very big that he's made. Like all his other plays were like amazing, right? Like up until now, his movements have been really, really good. And I wonder if he will tilt because of that death, because he TP'd bottom as well. So now he's going back bottom. He's going to do the same thing again where like he hangs out here. But first he's going to buy himself more vision, plant himself vision in the bottom area. So this words say if like there's enemies in the bottom jungle. Because normally in Dota, like when you go top lane, everybody goes bottom lane, right? So these words will help like give information to your team as well. That, oh, there's no one bottom. That means they're probably chasing you top. And this, at the same time, will also help Cr1t, like, farm this bottom lane a little bit. Because he really wants to, like, start, like, in the mid-game, around this time, he wants to already start getting the blink dagger, right? So, and his team understands that. Like, this blink is a priority. He actually missed a word, and then the courier got sniped by the Mars here. And he's just going to AFK bottom for a few minutes here, it seems like. Nope, his team already ran away, so he also has to get out of bottom lane. And instantly, as soon as his teammates ran away, they saw that and they jumped Cr1t. And now he's gonna lose the ward bottom. This feels really bad for Cr1t because he's not actually that close to blink unless he gets a kill. And his ward bottom just died, so now he's forced to play with his team because he can't go anywhere by himself anymore. He doesn't have any vision to support him, right? So now that that tower died, he's a bit closer to dagger. And he's just going to keep moving with his team because there's no point for him to like go somewhere by himself as an Earthshaker and farm. He has to just play with his team. And the Mars missed his spell. He feels bad for Mars. Oh, and now he's dead. So again, he made like a little bit of a blunder here. I think one of the reasons why he went to the mid lane is because all 3 of his cores are top and he feels like someone needs to push the mid lane out or they're going to lose the mid tower. So this was a mistake from, I think, both teams. Like, sorry, the guys at the top and Cr1t. Because his team up because none of the cores are playing around the mid lane and pushing this mid lane out. And there's like 3, you know, monkeys or whatever showing top lane here. And Cr1t's like, yo, someone's got to be pushing this mid lane out, which is very important. Like in high MMR games, you always see people pushing 2 lanes out at the same time. So, because none of the cores are pushing the mid lane out, he feels like he needs to do it. But to be honest, like, if your teammate up like this, you just gotta let it be. But there's a good thing that comes out of this. It's like they spend so much time killing the Earthshaker that the top tower dies or gets really low, and then the mid tower is gonna be defended because of that. So, like, his life is obviously less valuable than the mid tower being alive. Because they spend so much resource on killing him, top tower dies, and mid tower doesn't die anymore. Which is really nice. But this Ember dying is like pretty bad. Alright, let's see what the Earthshaker is going to do now. So Cr1t revives and again he TP's back bottom lane. He really wants this dagger. So like every time he's TP'd bottom is just to like pick up a little bit of farm. and try to get his dagger, right? And this time, perfect! Finally, his team reacted. So this time, he's in a position where his teammates are nearby, and when they jumped him, also they up the Mars like spear, right? Like he like ran away because he knew like if someone's jumping him, it's probably the spear or whatever. If the spear landed, he was dead, 100%. His team can't react. The Riki would have just bursted him. But because the spear didn't land, he dodged it by like moving forward or whatever, and the Mars missed that too. Look at the Mars, like sorry. Like this could have been really bad, but instead he gets the kill and then he got the blink dagger. Now you need to always account that human error is part of the game, right? So things like this happen, and this time he got the dagger. So now that he got the dagger, he gets a smoke. He's got another smoke in his backpack, and they're just going on a hunt right away. From bottom lane all the way to the mid lane, and he was playing with the Ursa because these two are the guys who can literally burst down anyone. So here he blinked over, he sees there's a ward, he dewards that, and now he's got the arcane ring too for his item instead of the ironwood branch or the iron branch, whatever that thing is, because it gives him mana and armor, which he really likes. And now he's playing around the mid lane and the top lane. I think Roshan is soon up. Actually, the first one died pretty early in the game, so it might be up soon. And he sees the SF on the minimap, he blinks, stuns him, and then the DP is going in. But the cores are all over the map though. This was kind of like, I think he baited his own team here. So this play I don't like, because like, okay, so this game, I feel like Cr1t is like playing, he's doing the right plays in an ideal situation where all his teammates are in the right position. Right, but his teammates are not in the right position, so he is kind of like getting baited because his teammates are like playing a bit worse than they normally would be. Like for example, this Pugna is showing bottom and the Ursa is showing top, and he decided to blink and stun this one Shadow Fiend that's here, and all he sees on the minimap is no one. Like he doesn't see anyone on the minimap, right? So he blinks and stuns this SF. Now where can this enemy be? Right? Like this Riki's not showing. This Riki is Invis, right? So because like his Pugna show bottom and the Ursa show top, like this is a bad play. And it also was a bad play by the DP for running in there. Like after the fissure you could just back out too. But it feels like they just kind of all baited each other and died now. So this is something that we don't want to do when we're playing Earthshaker, is like we need to watch where our teammates are on the map and where the enemy is, and not make plays just because we can, right? That's kind of important. Alright, so now he's dead for 8 seconds. What's his next play here? Okay, so he TP's in, he's got the dust, he dusts the Riki. They kill the Riki, easy kill, good XP, good gold, that's the carry of the enemy. And now what's the next gameplay? They get the bounty rune and goes straight back to the top lane. So we noticed how like throughout this game, before dagger, during 10 to 20 minutes he was like farming bottom, like where nobody wants to go. So this is called the dead lane, right? Like this is the lane where the enemy is always at. So he's using his body and like he's like sacrificing him potentially dying to farm bottom lane instead of one of his cores doing something so dangerous. And now after the dagger, he just got swords and sentries and starts to play in like the top half of the map and mid area. And right here what he's doing is very, very, very good, right? So the enemy thinks that Cr1t, the Earthshaker, is behind these guys top lane because DP just used ulti. But what Cr1t's doing is he's preparing himself to pick off the guy who's gonna show bottom lane, or like whoever is going to like try to split push, so that, because there's no way you're going high ground at 20 minutes and gonna get a Rax, right? So they will do whatever nonsense they're gonna do top, and he's already getting ready for himself to like try to pick someone off bottom. And here he even cancels a TP of an Earthshaker, sorry, Earth Spirit with the Earthshaker, and the Pugna is here right beside him to connect. But unfortunately, because these two guys showed bottom, now they got jumped top lane by everybody else. Now this is the problem with these players, right? Like they had no business being here so aggressively either, and I think like probably the DP baited him. I want to see that, what happened. Like what are they doing? Oh, the Mars jumped them here on this side. The DP ran to up here and these two guys ran here. But if they all ran where the DP was, like they can't jump him. They can't even TP behind him because of the outpost is taken over by Radiance. So that's how they died. Alright. So, and Cr1t died from the Earth Spirit shenanigans bottom. He was probably hoping for like a better kill than Earth Spirit. He was probably hoping like there was a Shadow Fiend bottom, or like maybe a Mars that he could have like Echo Slammed, and then his team like TPs on the outpost, right? Because what happens is when enemies show on top lane and things like that, like someone is like stealing the outpost or something of that sorts, so they can split push right away, right? So he was probably waiting to like to see if he can go on the guys on the outpost. And this game is very like close at the moment. So he revives now. Right, he revives, he TP's top lane. Why did he TP top? He bought more wards. Like he's and get a kill. Like he hasn't used Echo in a long time, I think, and he's kind of sad. He plants a sentry. You know why he planted a sentry? Because he realizes the movement of the Earth Spirit was really weird, right? So he knew that there was a ward somewhere, because he sees the movement of the Earth Spirit is very weird. Because as soon as the DP showed up, the Earth Spirit ran away, right? Because the Earth Spirit didn't keep going to the next wave. So because of that, he knows there's a sentry here. That means he probably didn't see the Earthshaker. And then he goes and plants another sentry elsewhere because of the awkward movements of the Earth Spirit. And then he gets a free ward because of that. So this is like really good play. When you're playing Earthshaker and you carry sentries and you like de-ward these things, it gives you a lot of gold XP. And it gives XP too, right? It still gives XP, right? Like I just want to make sure. And then it also removes vision from the enemy, and it doesn't cuck you, because now when this ward is dead, they don't know where the Earthshaker is anymore. So it's much scarier. Alright. So now he plants a ward aggressively because he thinks that they don't see him anymore, but there's actually a ward here, and that ward is going to get de-warded pretty fast. Then his second ward, he put it around the mid lane, because the mid lane ward is really nice. I like this ward because he's preparing this for whoever runs on here, and also for the next Roshan, right? He's playing around the top and mid area of the map now, and preparing for the next Roshan already. That's what they're planning. And boom! Okay, so this is really big. So now he's sitting in the mid lane, and his cores are next to him, and this Mars apparently shows out of nowhere, and he doesn't even hesitate. He knows that this Mars is going to cast his second spell and blink out, right? So he Echo Slams him just like that, so there's no chance for the Mars to blink. He could have fissured from the fog. He probably does. Alright, he fissures from the fog, and then instantly just like before he can even cast his second spell and blink out, he just like goes on him, right? He just wants to use his Echo and like wants to try and like make something happen. Now Mars also had people behind him, so they were able to stop him from like getting killed. But you can see the mindset that he's in is like he plays so fast. Like he just wants to cast the spells as soon as if his teammates are nearby, because any one kill outnumbering your opponent is gonna like shift the control on the map right away. And they end up getting an Earth Spirit anyway. Like it might have not been the Mars, but because they initiated on the Mars and like did whatever they can, they still ended up with like this collateral kill of Earth Spirits. Which means that now enemy has 4 kills and 5 kills on Radiant. They can just play a bit more aggressively if they need to. And this Pugna, they want to de-ward it. The Pugna gets jumped. And this is a big problem, because this is a huge problem. This DP and this Ursa, right? They went back for the outpost, right? And this DP is like farming some jungle, and they got jumped here. But if maybe one guy was taking the outpost, like let's say this Ember Spirit or something, and this Ursa and DP were next to these two guys and ready to fight, this would be a much different story. Or maybe the Pugna is not the one like also hitting this ward with the Earthshaker, and the Pugna is outside and like ready to save the Earthshaker. It's much better. But these two guys are hitting this, and Ursa is like going for the outpost for like minute 25 or whatever. I don't understand why. I don't think it's important. And because like they see the Ursa here and then the Ember here, these two guys get jumped, and now they're just dead because they're in the high ground and they don't have any more vision, and the other players are dead, right? Like it's freaking awful by Radiant what they did. They killed an Earth Spirit. They should just play aggressively and like push everybody out as together as 5, and they could just play into the mid lane and get Roshan or something. But I like that Cr1t is always just thinking about like getting these D wards, right? Throughout the whole game. Like he got this dagger, and after that he didn't care about anything else. Like he's just non-stop buying sentries and dust for his team, and like covering his team and getting ready and setting up for them too. I'm pretty sure this game though he was very frustrated Mainly because like his teammates are just not in the right place, doing like what they should be doing. Okay, so here once he revived, we should probably see what he's doing. Sorry, I didn't see where he went after he revived. So he revives, he goes top lane, he has 2 wards, 2 sentries. Plants a ward to protect the Death Prophet, and wants to get ready for Roshan probably by playing top and mid area. He sees an Earth Spirit here, a Mars here, and then he just stuns him and blinks out. And alright, he's just chill, man. He just keeps playing around the top area of the map. Now he puts another ward. So as you can see, he puts 2 wards in this area of the map because he knows that the enemy just showed here, right? The Mars just showed here. And you can see how highly he's valuing this Roshan fight. He put 2 wards in almost the same place because he needs that little bit of vision to see if the enemy is coming to contest this Roshan. Because that's how important Roshan is, right? Especially for an Ursa. Puts all the wards, all the sentries, everything is down for this fight. DP even pops his ulti. And look at that. Beautiful, right? Because of this ward, they see that they're coming to contest. The DP casts her ulti right away. Even though the Roshan is like half health, right? So this ward shows Lion here. And they're coming to contest. DP just pops the ulti. Now the Earth Spirit rolls in, and when the Earth Spirit rolls in, there's already a freaking DP ult coming out, and instantly Earthshaker casts Fissure on the Earth Spirit before he can cast Magnetize. And this Pepega Pugna decrept the Earth Spirit, but it still died. So at least that's good. And now they get the free Earth Spirit, they get the Aegis because of this ward, and this second ward here helped catch the Mars. But Mars has a BKB, but should die to the Ursa and the DP. And now they got 3 kills so easily, right? And this is all because of this setup vision for the Roshan, and him staying in the place where he's the most safe so he can get good echoes, and he just fissures that Earth Spirit as soon as it rolled in. As soon as he rolled in, he just fissured him. So it's a really nice setup. And now that they have Aegis, they're just starting to collect map control, taking the outpost. They can just keep pushing the lanes out. It gets more sentries non-stop. Keep buying sentries. You're playing against Ricky, just keep buying sentries non-stop. Pushes the mid lane out, blinks out right away, doesn't want to get picked off, and he does get picked off anyway. Gets jumped. Actually, the Pugna is saving him because his teammates are nearby, and instead they kill the Earth Spirit, right? So here what we see is very big. What he did was like very quick, right? Mid lane is coming, instantly casts 2 spells. He blinks out from the Mars. Can't do anything. Mars uses a spell, and now he goes back, joins his team. Doesn't waste any time, and then because his teammates are nearby, they can save him, they can glimmer him or heal him, whatever that may be. They get a free Earth Spirit, and they can go back to doing what they were doing, which was pushing out the lanes and looking for any other objectives at this point. So people are chasing bottom, he's just running away, he's just walking back and forth to see if he can fissure something to save his teammates. Has 2 more sentries now. I think he gave it to his teammate or something. Oh, they were trying to take the outposts right before the okay, so this is huge. So this is very big, actually. I didn't even notice it. I think this is something that I don't value enough, and it's a really big deal because these outposts are crazy important apparently every 10 minutes, right? So it's 2940, and they have vision here, so they know nobody's taking this outpost, and they know that all the enemy was just nearby in the bottom lane. So Cr1t is calling all his teammates to come here now, bottom lane, because most likely the enemy is going to contest this outpost that they've already taken. So he's calling all his team. He's got a smoke ready, and there's also bounty runes that are about to spawn. So if they win this fight, they keep the outpost, they get 2 bounties, and they'll probably just win the game. And instantly, look, he knows the enemy is really close, but because they don't have any wards, they're just gonna pop the smoke. They can't have the enemy jump them first, and he just stops this outpost from being taken. It's like 1 second left, gets fissured. Ursa jumps in too. And he's waiting patiently. Look at Cr1t's positioning. He's waiting very patiently for the good echo slam. He doesn't see the good echo. Ursa gets jumped, but Ursa has a BKB and an ulti still. And he has buyback. Casts his BKB, casts his ulti, waiting. The enemy casted BKB on the Mars, but the SF starts to channel his ult and doesn't have BKB, so he echo slams him, right? Because the SF doesn't have BKB. Easy echo. And you can see he's just very, very patient with his spell casting. He's just waiting for the right opportunity. All he had to do that fight was to make sure the SF didn't get his ult off there. And then the DP comes in, casts his ulti, kills him. And now they collect the bounty runes that like we talked about. And the Earthshaker, instantly, the next thing he did, playing like a team player, all the enemies dead, has no business going anywhere, TPs to the top lane, wants to pick up the bounties. One bounty, doesn't see the bounty top, and goes back to his team. Gets a sentry, gets 2 wards, sees that mid lane is getting pushed, pushes that shit out fast, and goes back to his team right away. Always thinking like about what objectives are on the map and what his purpose is, right? I love that he TP'd top lane to just get that bounty rune, because all these little leads is like how you win Dota, right? Every little lead matters. Every little outpost, every little bounty rune that you do correctly and that's free, it's like, it's gonna be big for you. And he's just covering his team, and instantly next item he buys a 4-staff, really good item against Ricky. It's I mean, Stealth Assassin, like, super good, and it's really good for your team as well. Okay, what's happening here? Let's go back. So with the wards, he plants more wards. Now they just want to play in the top and mid area of the map. Sees an illusion, stuns it, and I think his teammate gets jumped here, the Pugna, but he doesn't have fissure, so he can't help his team. And he's just gonna chill in the back. Like, there's nothing you can do. You hear Earthshaker, there's nothing you can do. Right? You don't have mana at the moment, and now the Ursa committed to the fight. He has to help. So he's looking for the right opportunity. He drops a sentry, gets an echo slam. He was trying to echo the Ricky, I think, right? He was trying to echo the Ricky with the sentry, but he missed. So you see here, like, as soon as the Ursa jumped, like, he had no intentions of fighting here. But the moment the Ursa committed to the fight, he used the stick so he can have mana to cast a spell. Like, watch this, right? He's watching the fight, he sees the Ursa blink BKB, and now he's like, oh, alright, I guess we have to take this fight. Right? So I think it was a Glimmer Cape or whatever on the SF, and there he sees the SF, he blink echoes the SF here. Or tries to, but the sentry's out of range, so they don't see the SF. So it feels like shit right now because he doesn't have any more sentries. And there it is, we have some more vision again. And the SF is about to die. Okay, perfect. I thought that was a Ricky that he echoed. No, it was actually just an SF who was out of range of the sentry, but then he walked back into the range. Or he had a dust. Was that a dust? Oh, he had a dust. Okay, never mind, he had a dust. Oh, it was in his backpack. So he had to wait. So he drops the sentry and then he echoes the SF because he doesn't have BKB. And then... whose dust is this? Oh no, he just walks back into a sentry range. Or how do they see him? Oh, the Glimmer Cape finished. Never mind. Forehead. I forgot. He got echoed, so the Glimmer Cape finished. Don't mind me, guys. Brain fart. No, thinking a lot. I thought it was a Shadow Blade, but it was just a Glimmer Cape of the lion. Cause he does have a Shadow Blade, so I thought it was a Shadow Blade, but it was a Glimmer Cape. So now they got the SF kill. This SF, I don't know why it doesn't go BKB, but it's probably because there's an Ursa on the enemy side, right? Like BKB doesn't do anything against Ursa, but when you play against Earthshaker, you need BKB. So that's why this Earthshaker and Ursa combo is so good. Cause like Earthshaker, you need BKB against, and against Ursa, you need like all this evasion and glimmers and stuff like that. Okay. And look, oh, this is so good. Right? Look what he did. This is the first time he drew something on the map. He's like, hey guys, someone push bottom lane out and 2 of us play top and middle or something. He's like, let's play top mid and let like Ursa, Ember or something push bottom lane out. Who has bots? Oh, the Pugna. He's like telling one person to push bottom lane out and everybody else to play top and mid lane. like by drawing on the map, which is really nice. Like when you see those things by like pro players, you already understand like what their plan is. Oh, and now they find a free Ursa, and you can see like nobody's even going bottom anymore. I think the Pugna just like TP top because they saw a lion and he came to defend like or come for the fight. Collect all the bounty runes. Very nice.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Smokes up with his team, and now he's smoked, and they're trying to go on the hunt, trying to find someone, and Mars just BKBs ults. That's a big waste of spell. That's very big. That's a good win. And he puts another ward here. So now with Cr1t, like he's planted like such good vision on the map. Like the enemy can't get past their side of the map, right? Only one hero can possibly play in this area. That's it. From how he's playing. I'm really surprised the way he's playing. Like he's not trying to catch any split pushers, right? He's just being that guy who's ready to fight with like his team this game. Oh, and Mars shows up for the creep wave. There's a gem on the floor. Stuns, blocks off the enemy here, and instantly goes back into like a defensive position because he can't like let himself be seen and get jumped by the lion. And now he dusts the lion. He gets all the information. Earth Spirit is dead. Lion is dead too. Both supports are dead. They use the DP ulti. They want to push. But the DP ulti is running out. And the next creep wave is... They got a few creeps. You know, they can do a little bit of damage. Oh, glyph used. Okay. That's already a big win. He has a refresher on DP, so he's going to use another ult. And now he's just Cr1t's just like, okay, well, the enemy can't come to the DP. Oh, sees the Mars and blinks out instantly. So the enemy has to come to the DP because DP is ulti. All he has to do is sit behind the DP and wait for the fight to come. And the Mars, you can see like the way Cr1t's playing, like he's always forcing Mars to like have to get him, right? Like this Mars is always blinking into compromising positions because they have to catch the Earthshaker. Like that's how important they see the Earthshaker. So this Mars blinks in and he's always ready to blink out because he knows like psychologically this Riki or the Mars has to catch him no matter what. Now the Riki catching him doesn't mean shit because he can just force out. Shouldn't his wards be closer to tier 3 to restrict enemy movement? Okay, so if all your wards are close to the tier 3, that means that one of your wards will die. Because you can't control this area and you can't control this area at the same time. Right? And these wards are easy to kill. Now, you can have one ward on your near the tier 3 and you can control that area. And you can give away like some area for your opponent. So imagine controlling all of this up until this point. This is already like more than 70% of the map. You don't need 90% of the map when you're not even that strong. Like they got like 9k goal lead. Minute 38. That's like nothing. Right? Minute 38, 9k goal lead is like nothing. And they don't have like the mobility on their heroes to be able to control 90% of the map. So they just like ward up here, ward a little bit away from like this other area and just like control 70%, and they're happy with that. Because right now all they're playing for is the next bounty rune, Outpost, Roshan, and probably 40-minute items. Oh, big ass Echo Slam. Onto this Riki, and the Riki just dies. Okay, this Riki is so greedy. Because the tower is so low, right? And he just keeps hitting it. And like the first time the Riki hit the tower, Cr1t already TP'd. The moment that Riki walked into the vision, he already TP bottom. And then he echoes it right away. That's so good. Like he's setting up for all these guys who can split push bot lane. Late game D wards are huge and you don't want that happening at all. And now they get the Roshan, the 39-minute Roshan. And now the outposts are about to be taken by the enemy. Bottom doesn't matter. They don't want to go into poor position just for the outpost. I think they're just going to collect the bounties instead. Huge bounties. These bounties are 120 gold each, and they get 4 on Radiant because of the vision that they have on the map and the fact that Riki was dead for too long. And now this Ursa put himself in a really bad position and dies like a Pepega because his teammates are hunting bottom. I don't know why he was farming this big camp, and obviously Cr1t's like, well, what the fuck do I do? Do I go bottom? Do I go help this Ursa? Not to help the Ursa because he has Aegis anyway. And he cancels the SF ulti again. Dusts the SF. The SF has Satanic. Unfortunately, Cr1t dies. And Cr1t right now is contemplating whether he's going to buy back or not. And he decides not to buy back because his team already has won the team fight and he's not necessarily needed anymore. And his contribution to that fight was pretty much stunning the SF, dusting the SF, and echoing the SF. And that was enough to win the fight. You don't need this like massive, you know, 5-man echo slam to win a fight, right? You need to really analyze who the strong enemy is and you need to just get him. And this game, it was the SF, and the SF was like Butterfly and Satanic. That's the one that Ursa has the hardest time killing. And the game's about to end, so he just buys back, sells his item, buys boots of travels, and now he's in the fight again. And that's what he did. He just stunned the SF, he echo slams the SF, and his SF built to like ruin Ursa, and the SF was like praying this game that crit doesn't stun him, right? Because he literally built his entire build around this Earthshaker wasting his spells on someone else. And all he did was not stun anyone but the SF. And this game just ended in one timing, right? Like, they just waited for that Roshan, they waited for bounty runes, the outpost, and one opening like that with the Aegis, where the enemy wastes some of their spells on the Ursa, and then the fight was just over. The game just blew up. So the biggest thing I learned from this game is like, this is position 5 versus Earthshaker. This was not position 4 Earthshaker. I loved his early game movements. Like, he bought regen early game instead of buying boots or some garbage items. And then he played around the mid and the safe lane because he knew that those are the lanes he can do a lot on. And then he only started like looking for gold like after 12 minutes when he already had like 900 gold and he was starting to get really close to finishing dagger. But he might have had like some really unnecessary deaths this game, but apart from that, he really played well for his team. And his vision always was aggressive because he had an Ursa on his team and he wanted to put aggressive vision to help the Ursa get more kills in the game. And he was very, very patient in the team fights, and especially in the late game, all he focused was the Shadow Fiend. Like, all he cared about in the late game team fights was making sure the Shadow Fiend doesn't get his ult off.